Welcome to Lead Different.
What if your business isn't broken? It's just missing one leg. If you've ever felt busy, stretched thin, or stuck trying to do all the things, this conversation is for you. Our guest today is Larry Long Jr., a globally recognized keynote speaker, sales acceleration expert, and the author of JOLT, Get Zapped Into Intentionality. Larry is the founder and CEO of Larry Long Jr. LLC. And for more than 16 years, he's been helping sales teams and leaders turn energy into execution and relationships into real revenue. During today's conversation on the Lead Different podcast, Larry gets real about the struggle so many leaders face, balancing the three-legged stool of creating content, presenting that content, and then getting new business. You miss one leg and the whole thing wobbles. Larry breaks down why all three matter, how they work together, and how intentional focus, not hustle, is what actually keeps a business healthy and growing. He's known for high-energy, interactive keynotes that go way beyond motivation. Larry delivers behavior change that lasts long after the applause fades, especially in today's AI-driven, high-pressure, hybrid world. So if you're ready to lead different, steady the stool, and perform at your next level, let's get zapped. Please welcome Larry Long Jr. Hope you enjoy the conversation.
Why not leadership? Why not lead different?
Welcome to Lead Different, the podcast that redefines leadership and challenges the status quo. Hosted by Daniel Dominguez, founder and CEO of Why Not Leadership. This show is your compass to becoming a better leader through the power of self-awareness. Good leaders foster teams that are engaged, empowered, and energized. Join us on this transformative journey as we equip you with the tools and insights to lead different. Get ready to challenge the ordinary and embrace self-aware leadership. This is Lead Different.
Subscribe now. Discover a new era of leadership. Lead different, because great leaders change the world.
How are you doing, Larry?
Oh, goodness. After that amazing intro, I am doing, in the words of that great philosopher, J.J. Walker, dynamite. Thank you so much, Dan. The check is in the mail.
That's the second J.J. Walker reference I heard this week. You know, is J.J. Walker still alive, the actor who played J.J. Walker?
I think so. I'm not sure, though. I am not sure.
He is still around because, yeah, that's so funny. Somebody said they were watching old TV. You know, there's that channel that watch all the old shows. And they said, we saw Kid Dynamite. And Larry Long Jr., man, that fits. You know, when I look at, I follow you on LinkedIn because we're friends, and man, one of the things that I always remember from meeting you in person when you were in Albuquerque and hanging out with you and Stan Phelps on the golf course is that smile, man. That smile is just there all the time. Every picture you see of Larry, he's got that bright, beautiful smile that he's putting out to the world. And how are things, Larry? I'd love to just catch up. You know, let's get our audience caught up because I did use that introduction to tell them everything you do. But what I love about that introduction is it is true. Everything about it is true. I've had an opportunity to meet you in person. You know, he's a decent golfer, folks. On top of that, he's a decent golfer. We had a great time at the that's right, at the Albuquerque Country Club. It was you and Stan were in town for an NSA event, I think. And we played 18 holes with my coach and good friend Jerry Lujan. So we got a great foursome, man. And it was a little cold, but we endured.
Fond memories. And I appreciate you so much, Dan. The goodness that you're putting out into the world. I'll say I don't like it. I love it.
Man.
I am blessed to be a guest on your show. What a way to bring in 2026 as we're all trying to get in the mix. So thank you. I cannot wait for this conversation.
Man, I cannot wait either. I love that. Blessed to be a guest. That's so good. And I love that you've got the visuals right there. You got the heart. Hey, Larry, let's talk today about what you do, because the work world is changing. One of the things that caught my attention is it's a hybrid workspace. We got 5 generations in the workforce. We've got AI, which is changing everything. If you're not using AI, folks, you're behind. Just get don't be afraid of it. Just get in front of it. And a lot of people are making fun of us that if you're only asking it to rewrite something, you know what? Get started. Anything worth doing is I've been following Kent Chevalier. He's the pastor for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he just wrote a book called "Do It Afraid." If it's worth doing badly. You can get better later, right? and we'll talk about Larry's YOS. He's a better way guy. You can get better, but you can't get better on nothing. You got to have something to start with. So, what are you doing? How are you? I mentioned in the talk, people bring you in because you're going to help motivate sales teams and using all that technology out there. So just tell me what's your latest that you've got on that, because our business leaders want to hear about that.
Yeah. So traditionally, I've been called a motivational speaker, but I like to think of it as transformational. Because when you think about it, motivation and inspiration, it comes and it goes. Today, I'm motivated to go to the gym. So are a million other people. The gym is crowded. But when I talk about transformation, now I'm doing something differently with consistency, with thoughtfulness. It's not just a fly by the seat of my pants. It's the start of the new year. I need to go to the gym. I am dedicated, and it's really that daily discipline to not just go to the gym and get my exercise in, but also make sure that I'm eating right. So I try to work with teams on their choices, on their plans, their goals, their vision, and them having intentionality around it. I wrote a book called JOLT. It's electric. Get zapped into intentionality, rediscover and believe in your inner greatness. Because Dan, I believe we all have inner greatness, but sometimes life be lifing. And as life goes on, we lose that inner greatness. We don't believe in it. So I wanted to get people zapped. I wanted to give them that jolt, get them unstuck. And that's really my goal. And my word for the year is bold. I want people to be bold, to be brave, to be unabashed behind their greatness. So that's what we're doing in 2026.
Man, bold, brave, unabashed. Those are great words. And so bold is the word, and then brave and unabashed. I love that. Unapologetic is my word this year. Unapologetically me. You know what? We don't need to apologize for ourselves, right? We are who we are every single day. And whether you're having a good day or a bad day, you're still going to be you. And so be the best you that you can be. Even on our bad days, we can make a difference. And I love what you talked about, transformation versus motivation. Motivation is temporary.
That's right.
You're absolutely right. So I did. So this is by the way, folks, this is my first official duty of the year. I was off from the 22nd until the 5th. So this morning I went to the gym. And I only had 20 minutes, Larry. So I did some push-ups and I did some crunches. And then I went and showered, got dressed, and got myself to the office so I could be here for you. But you got to do something. Even one little thing. I think I did 100 push-ups, 100 crunches. And, it takes me about 4 minutes to go through each little set and then get back out there and shower. I love to do it in the steam room. So if I'm gonna, I'll cut the workout short so I can sit in the steam room for a little while and then go get myself dressed and ready. But you're absolutely
I was wondering why you were glistening. That explains why you're shining.
That's the glow from the steam room, Larry. And it's just water weight, but when you can weigh yourself before you go to the steam room, and you weigh yourself after that water weight comes off. It feels good to lose a little bit of weight without doing anything. But man, what are you doing different? What are you doing with bold in 2026, Larry? Tell us about that.
Yeah, for me personally, I've got to live it. I mean, we were fearfully and wonderfully made. So I'm looking at that man in the mirror and asking, Larry, what are you doing differently? And Dan, I'm going to be honest with you. I've lived a life that has been, there's been FUD as a central theme. Not Elmer FUD, but fear, uncertainty, and double doubt. Not just regular doubt, but double doubt. That voice, I call it Cletus, on my one shoulder that tells me all the things I can't do. Tells me all the things I'm not worthy of. Well, kind of like they said in Nutty Professor, come on, Cletus, you're going to walk over, but you're going to limp back. So this year, I am really living with intention to have global impact, positive impact globally, internationally. I think Pitbull's Mr. Worldwide. I'm coming for that throne. I might be going to Portugal in late February and taking my family with me. That's part of my intention, is to have my family involved. I'm heading to Australia with Stan Phelps in March for a speakers conference, and I might be speaking in Scotland and at least taking my wife, hopefully the whole family. I'm also doing it with golf. I'm taking my golf clubs everywhere that I go. I played 64 rounds last year. That is intentional. That's not just fly by the seat of my pants.
Right.
And most importantly, I'm making sure that I have fun. Q2 and Q3 last year were very challenging financially. The business, we struggled. We were fighting that battle every day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's never fun to struggle. And I'm making it a point that even through the tough times, I'm going to enjoy myself with intention. I'm going to look for what is the lesson that I'm supposed to be learning and what's the lesson I'm supposed to be earning through those tough times. So that's my version of being bold. I also want to tell you, my version of being bold is getting to be a single digit handicap. I'm a 10.7 handicap index on the golf course, as well as writing 2 books. I've got JOLT Part 2, that's been a dream for the past 3 years. It's going to be a reality. And then JOLT for Kids. It's going to be a book project, illustrated, a family project. My 16-year-old son, my 12-year-old daughter, and my beautiful wife, Maria, we're going to make that happen in 2026.
Man, that I love the energy behind it. I love the intentionality, and that's so important. I'm coming off, Larry. So I'm gonna take some of what you just said. I'm coming off my CEO retreat. So every year I invite 4 or 5 CEOs, and we rented a big house, and then we just sit in there and we go 28 hours, and we start with a year in review, and then we look at the top 10 things that happened, top things we would have done differently, lessons learned, all that stuff. And then because you got to look back before you can look forward, right? So you mentioned, hey, I was there with you on that struggle bus fourth quarter, trying to make revenue, because we got teams to pay, we got bills to pay. My family likes to eat. Your family probably likes to eat. It's a good thing, right? And so that motivates us to get out the door and do our jobs and do it to the best of our ability. But one of the things you talked about is you got to incorporate that fun. You got to put 64 rounds. Congratulations in 10.7. So, that's a topic we can spend time on. I know my listeners are going to enjoy talking about the golf. 10.7. I remember being a single digit handicap. It's a lot harder to stay a single digit handicap. I'm about to 13 now. So you'll be giving me some strokes when we play. But, that 0.7, that'll come right off. Just intentional, just go out and practice. And like you said, if it's worth doing badly, go out and practice, get better. And it's going to be on the short game. My dad just came out of surgery, Larry. And so he had a hernia surgery, so he can't swing a club. But we've been having these putting contests on Sundays. We just go out and play the little 9-hole putting course on the putting green. And we have 4 or 5 matches of 9 holes each. And, you know what? That's going to help my game, I think, this year. So it's always the little things, right? Tell us. I love what you said. What am I learning through the struggle? What am I earning? Because that's the reason I brought the retreat up is we all had stuff that we struggled through. But then, man, when we set those 2026 goals, it helped us say, hey, look, I've been through that, made it through. We're going to go through that. Let's talk about this. What were some of the biggest lessons from 2025 that and I want to talk about FUD too, fear, uncertainty, and doubt times 2. You got books coming out. What's the biggest lesson learned? And what do you think you earned through that lesson from 25 that you're taking into 26 and you say, man, we're just going to jolt this world with a JOLT 2 and a JOLT for Kids?
Yeah, can't stop, won't stop. Never stop prospecting.
Mm-hmm.
My funnel, there's no mystery in business and in sales.
Mm-hmm.
The cure to almost every business and sales ailment is a big, robust pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And I had stopped filling the funnel and doing the activities with the daily discipline. And there's every excuse in the book, but there's no excuse. In my world as a speaker, you're either delivering where you're on a stage or on a Zoom delivering a message, you're hopefully creating new material, doing research, and or you're selling and marketing. It's that three-legged stool. Now, when you're delivering, it's tough to be creating and selling and marketing. When you're selling and marketing, it's tough to be delivering at the same time. The challenge that I face is, how do I do all three consistently with that discipline? And what I realized is, Dan, I don't need to do it all alone. I don't need to be Superman. I think they say teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
I've now got a team. Before, I had a team of 3 and they all hated each other. It was dysfunctional. It was me, myself, and I just battling each other every day. But now I've got some help in the mode of a virtual professional who's helping me to make sure that I'm doing that three-legged stool at a high level each and every day.
No, that's so good. Yeah. You know what? It's so funny you say that, because I've been in sales my entire career. Spent 27 years in the medical device industry before I decided to go out on my own. And one of the things that happens, Larry, when you're in sales, and I don't know if this happens for you, is a lot of coaches and a lot of consultants and speakers suffer with the sales part of it. I have no problem with that. The problem is I'll sell it before I'm ready. And now I got to go prepare it. So like you said, you got to create, right? Somebody says, hey, Dan, can you do that? Sure, I can. And I'll go look, I'll figure it out, because I'll get it sold and then we'll build it. And, but you're absolutely right. You know, when you can't walk away from bad business if every business is important, right? So there's a value. You know, people ask me all the time, man, or they'll say, man, you're charging a pretty penny for that. What gives you the confidence to charge what you're worth is having a robust funnel. Because when somebody says, oh, Dan, well, can you do it for half that? And if you have a robust funnel, you say, no, man, I can't, because I got 6 other people waiting that I'm going to talk to. And I bet one of them is going to pay the full price. So I'm going to let you, figure out how to fund that, because this is worth what we put into it. Jerry, who you met, Jerry Lujan, used to say, they're not paying you for the 1 hour that you're on stage. They're paying you for the years and years that it took to get that knowledge, so that you could be on stage, the years that you've been practicing your message, your energy that you bring. I remember I was in the military, Larry. We had a guy that he was kind of slightly overweight, but man, that guy had the most positive attitude. He'd show up at physical training. He was yelling and pumping everybody up. And I remember at the end of the year, we had awards for like the most spirited or something, and he didn't get a vote. And he got up, and he said, wait a minute, you guys. You think I do this naturally? He goes, I do this for you. And he got a unanimous vote, but he had to stand up for himself and say, hey guys, I'm doing this. I get up, I motivate myself, but I'm here to motivate you. And I want you to acknowledge that. And so he just saw his value, and he didn't let us get away with not. So many people would have walked away and said, oh man, all that work for nothing. No, he said, he called us out and he got the award. So tell us about, because this is I saw this post, the FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. What are some of the things people are going to learn when they come here, Larry, about overcoming fear, overcoming uncertainty, and overcoming doubt?
Yeah, if it is to be, it starts with me. So it's really, what is your self-talk? What story are you telling yourself? And more importantly, what story are you believing? You see, we're authors and we're narrators of a story each and every day that we wake up. And I share with you my challenge of, I call that voice Cletus, telling me all the things that I'm not worthy of, all the things that I can't do. And I realize that I can't be Cletus all by myself. So I've surrounded myself. I've got a beautiful family. I've got a strong faith. And they say you can't have faith and fear in the same sentence at the same time. And I've tried. It doesn't work. You got to pick. Either you're going to be faithful and believe that you can and believe it's going to work out, or you can lean on the fear. And what I've learned is that I like to lean on the faith that everything's going to be all right. Not just because I said so, but I'm working. I believe in my heart and I'm putting in that work. So that's the battle that not only am I facing, but I see other people facing it. And I'm open to sharing my story, because so often we see people's best, rainbows, sunshine, unicorns. If we look out there, and I encourage people, don't believe the hype. Comparison is the thief of all joy. And for me,
Right.
I'm in chapter 5 of my professional speaker journey. And I'm guilty as charged comparing myself to someone else's chapter 23. Stan Phelps, chapter 14.
Oh my
And,
God. How
and,
many
and
books has he written?
oh my goodness, I think he's up to 17, 18. He's got the whole goldfish
every
series.
every colored goldfish you could ever imagine.
But I love it because Stan is a huge mentor of mine, a great
Yeah.
friend of mine, a huge supporter. Similar to your CEO retreat, Stan and I, at the end of every year, we look back, reflect on the previous year, we look forward and project what our big vision, our BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals,
Yeah.
and we support each other throughout. I can tell you that Stan, right now I'm going for my CSP. I'm applying for my certified speaking professional designation. And Stan has been one of my biggest advocates and encouragers when my mind and Cletus is telling me, you're not worthy. Who do you think you are? Stan is saying, go for it, Larry. You got this.
Yeah, no, that is so, and it's so important to have. It's funny you brought that up. I saw somebody on social media put something out. They talked to. This is great because you got teenagers. I got a 14-year-old at home right now, and a 36-year-old in the professional world doing some amazing stuff. But we're our parent as parents. We got to get those kids ready for the world, right? And one of the things I saw recently on social media said, look out for candle blower outers. So you've got a light that you're shining. You can see, guys. I know you can see Larry's light as you see him. His light shines bright, and there's everybody you meet is either going to be somebody that helps you protect that light and helps you build that light, or they're going to try to blow it out. And Cletus, Cletus didn't make up himself, right? He's made up of all the people that have ever probably doubted Larry and said things to Larry like, hey, you can't do that. You're from here. Nobody from here has ever done that. Nobody from Nazareth, nothing good ever came out of Nazareth, right? Jesus even heard it, right? But the people, and it makes it easier. So one of my personal goals is to surround myself with people that build me up.
Right.
And to not spend time with those people that don't, because we don't have to. We have a choice, right? We have a choice every day. You can take that phone call or not. You can engage in that conversation that's not positive. It's whether it's gossipy or just Debbie Downer. You can choose to stay away from those people. And as Father Adrian, one of my clients, says, he says, Dan, those people, you love them like a skunk. I said, what do you mean? Well, you love them from far. You can still love them. You just don't need to be hanging around where you might get stinky from them, right? You don't want them putting money into your Cletus bank account. You want the people that'll help protect that light and make it shine bright. Because if you got a good team like yourself with Stan, with your team, your virtual professional, with your fellow coaches and your fellow speakers that you work with, then those people are protecting that light. Sometimes they don't even know they're doing it, but they're doing it, and they're not trying to blow it out, because there are people out there that want to blow it out, right?
So true. So true. And you mentioned something earlier, and I love that you talked about it. I'm wearing it. There's so much power in relationships.
Oh yeah.
The relationship with ourselves as well as those people that we spend the most time with. And you said it best. You said we have a choice. I encourage folks to be mindful, to be thoughtful, and think about, who am I spending time with? Who are my personal and professional board of directors? Those people that are encouraging me,
Right.
kicking me in the behind when I need it.
Yep.
I've got 3 different mastermind groups, and they're amazing. I'm able to support them and they're able to support me, and we lift each other up and we challenge each other. Hey, don't believe that hype. That's not
Yeah.
true. You're better than this. Let's go and let's be great.
No, that is so good. Relationships. There's great Irish toast. I think that one of my friends says there are good ships and there are wood ships, and there are ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are the friendships, and may they ever be.
Oh, I love that.
You
I
gotta
love
have
it.
those. You gotta have those friendships. We recorded that for you, Larry. You can go back and take notes. But man, yeah, those friendships, those relationships, those people that you spend. Jim Rohn said you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that number's 5, 3, 2, whatever. The people you hang out with will impact who you are, and so why not? And why not spend some time with people that elevate you? And that's hard too, because our job also is to elevate others, right? When we talk about shining that light, don't hide it under a bushel, right? Put that light out, because just by you being on this show today, Larry, you're going to inspire somebody. Somebody's looking at you and saying, hey, I could do that. Maybe I need to get my CSP. Maybe that's the one thing that I need. Hey, Larry, who's got it so well put together, because we only, folks, let me tell you, what you see on our LinkedIn is our highlight reel, right? We put our highlight reel up there and on Facebook and Instagram. But the reality is, Larry mentioned it. Hey, sometimes we struggle because we forgot to do the everyday things that fill the funnel. And come December, you're not calling anybody that's going to be hiring you to give a big speech in front of their company. They made that decision 3 months ago. The revenue that you get in December was built from the phone call you made in January, or that talk that you gave in March or April. So it's that constant work and being disciplined. So why Cletus? Tell us. Let's talk about Cletus. I know that's going down the bad road, but I think you gave him a name. You identify it. Evil doesn't survive in the light. So you gave Cletus a name, and you bring him out, and then you call him out and get rid of him. So tell us about Cletus.
That was from the guidance of my coach, Kristen Frade. I worked with Kristen 4.5 years ago, and she said, Larry, you befuddle me. You're so positive and uplifting to everyone. But when it comes to you, I was writing my book at the time. She said, when it comes to you, you're negative Nancy, negative Nelly, negative Ned. You talk to yourself worse than you would ever talk to anyone else, and worse than you would ever allow anyone else to speak to you. She said, why is that? She was just curious. And I shared with her that I expect the best. I want to do great things. And she said, everyone does, but your reflection, and I know you joke around about it, but your reflections are not serving you and not supporting you. They might have in the past when you were playing baseball to be tough on yourself, but now in this environment, it's really holding you back.
Right.
She said, let's name it. Let's name that voice. And I love the nutty professor, Cletus. Come on, Cletus, you're going to walk over, but you're going to limp back. So luckily, I'm able most times to knock Cletus off my shoulder. Mama said, knock you out. I lost my father December 11th of 2015. We just hit the 10-year anniversary. And my father was one of the most encouraging, inspiring, one of my biggest fans, if not my biggest fan. So luckily, the voice of Larry Long Sr. is on this shoulder, and it's amplified, and it tells me, boy, you're more than a conqueror. You were made fearfully and wonderfully made. Act like it. And he shared with me, I went through a rough stretch to start off my baseball career. I played baseball at University of Maryland. Go Terps. I'm a Terrapin. But I started off my career 1 for my first 24. I think that's .048, well below the Mendoza line. It got me playing the position of left out at the end of the bench. But my dad said, Larry, with a stank attitude like you have right now, you're already defeated. And I'm going to tell you, you can't have my name, because that's not how we operate. He told me to get back to the drawing board, and most importantly, get my mind right, how I thought about myself. If I work hard and I have the right mindset, the sky isn't the limit. There is no limit, and Father knows best. So I try to make sure I amplify that voice day in and day out.
Man, I love that. I love that you brought up your dad, and I'm sure he's a special guy, and some good memories there. And it reminds me, because my dad's 80 years old. He just had a hernia operation, and you just got, Sundays are for spending time with family, and we have breakfast with him. We try to hang out. Yesterday it was good, nice weather here in Albuquerque, so I said, hey, let's go. He said, I can't play, and I said, let's go putt. And we've been doing that 2 weeks in a row. Then we had a hot chocolate. You sat in that clubhouse, right? We sat by the fire, and we ordered a hot chocolate and a cinnamon roll, and we just hung out for a couple hours. That's an important relationship. There are things I know I will remember when he's no longer around, but we're going to take advantage of every minute we have while he's here. And your dad had some wisdom for you. You can't have what do you call it, a stank attitude, because that will hurt you. That you've got some you've heard some wisdom. I love that you got Cletus over here and you got Larry Long Sr. on the other, and Larry Long's got the big boxing glove, right? So he's going to knock Cletus out of there. One of the things, I just wrote this down. When I met you, one of the things I do with everybody is I give them the YOS. You took the YOS, and guys, there is no doubt you guys you better know that Larry Long Jr. has better way in his YOS. That's his why. So he's always looking for a better way. So he's an innovator. He's a guy that, again, he's not just going to motivate you. He's going to give you a plan. He's going to come in and make a difference, make a transformation. His how is to challenge the status quo. And you've already seen how different this interview has been than other interviews that I've done, with all the visuals that Larry has. He's got the shirt open. I mean, I'm wondering what he's going to pull out next. And that's exactly what challenge people do. They challenge the status quo. They do it differently, and they're not afraid to be bold and out there, and is what is contribute. So what he brings is he wants to make a difference. And you definitely feel that in what Larry's doing. I love that your dad got in your head, because I was reading, Harvey Pinnock wrote the Little Red Book of Golf, right? But then he also wrote another book that I've loved. It's called If You Play Golf, You're My Friend. And it's just little stories. Wow. And he said he had this one pro come, and people came from all over to see Harvey Pinnock in Austin. And this golf pro came, and he wanted some help. He's like, I can't putt. And Harvey Pinnock had him putt a few putts, and he said, okay, get out of here. He's like, wait, what am I doing wrong? He's like, you're not doing anything wrong. You're so talented. You just need to get out of your head, look at the hole, and hit the putt. You're going to be fine. And sometimes that's the way his lessons work. 30 seconds, so you just say, hey, look, you don't need anything there's nothing I can teach you. And he was very basic, get a good grip, get a alignment and stance. If you do those three things right, everything else will take care of itself. And take dead aim. That's another one. That's one that I'm working on in 2026. So what are you taking dead aim at, Larry Long Jr.? What do we want to make sure the Lead Different podcast audience knows about what you're going to be doing in 2026?
Yeah, for me, a lot of it is internal, looking at myself and asking the tough questions. It's tough. The question I've been grappling with, Dan, is, Larry, what do you want specifically? Ooh. And I've been challenged with, do I want what I wanted 4 years ago, or do I need to want more? And the lessons from my coach is, Larry, you don't need to want more if you don't want more. If you're not committed to more, it's okay. And I'm in a season right now. My son is playing JV basketball. He hadn't played basketball since 2018. He made the team. My daughter is so artsy. For me, there's power in being present, because the speaking engagements, they'll be around 5-10 years from now. My kids, they're going to be out of the house. We've got 3 more summers with my son. So I want to make every moment count. And that's my intention. And it's okay for me to say, I don't want to do more speaking engagements. That's okay. I want more moments, signature experiences with my family. You talked about it earlier, and I'm going to harp on, I've been thinking a lot about my dash. My dash started in 1978. We're now at 2026. And I've been asking, Larry, are you living your dash the way that you want to live your dash? Are you living a life of a lasting legacy, a positive impact, something that your kids and grandkids can be proud of? And that's what I'm working towards each and every day. So I'm going to be honest, I struggled over the break, because I was thinking of, I've got to have these big, hairy, audacious goals from a business perspective. I got to make all this money. And it came down to, no, you don't, Larry. That's not what drives you. That's not what your priorities are. You want to be rich in those relationships with your kids. You want to be rich in those relationships with your wife. You want to be rich in those relationships with your faith. And that only comes from being intentional and taking action. It's good to talk, but talk is cheap. Anyone can talk a good game. It's good to write it down, but the proof is really in, what are you doing every day? It's easy to have Monday motivation. I put out a Monday motivation post every single week. But it's what are you doing on the other days that end in Y? Larry, what did you do over the weekend to get ready to live with intention with your family, with your faith, with your fitness, because your health is your wealth? I went to go see my doctor and he said, Larry, you need to lose some weight. I said, Doc, you must not know what time it is. He said, yes, Larry, it's 11:46. I said, no, Doc, do you know what time it is? Here in North Carolina, it's bow time. Bojangles, chicken, and biscuits. He said, Larry, you might be playing, but there's no time for bow time if you want family time. If you want to see your daughter walk down that aisle, I recommend you mix in a salad. So I love that you went to the gym today. You did something, even in 20 minutes, you made it happen. I applaud you, Dan. That's how I'm trying to be.
Well, thanks for being one of my cheerleaders, Larry. And that's it. Like I said, me and one of the deacons, we've got a challenge. We did this pilgrimage last year in Oklahoma, 30-mile walk over 2 days, 22 miles the first day, and like 10, 14 the second day. And I was able to finish it, but he struggled a little bit. So we challenged ourselves, hey, we're going to both lose some weight and we're going to be able to run that thing if we want to, because we did it with a bunch of teenage kids. And of course, they're walking barefoot and doing it, and they're singing, they're chanting, and we're just trying to struggle up the hill. But we text each other every day, hey, I at least got some push-ups and crunches in today, and at minimum do something. And so thank you for cheering. I love the power in being present. That's so important. I read a book over the break, and I'll recommend it to you. Matthew Kelly wrote a book called Slowing Down to the Speed of Joy.
Wow.
And, and I had a guest a few days ago say joy means you put Jesus first, then you put others, and then you. Jesus, others, then you. And when you do those things in that order, man, things are in the right order. You got to put him first. Then you like you said, put your son, others. Whose are you, right? Who are you doing this for? And so you're doing it for your family. That's why you do the push-ups. That's why you mix in a salad every once in a while. And that's why you stay healthy, because, hey, look, my father-in-law is 86. My dad's 80. And watched my dad still be able to go out and play golf, man. That's how you want to be. You don't want to be, because we lost my mom, we lost my mother-in-law, and boy, those end of days, those are tough. When they're sick and they can't do the things, right? So you got to be mixing in that salad will give you better quality last year's, right? You want those you want to have a heart attack and just go. But not that extended long-term care, man, that's tough. And that's tough on the family. It's tough on the kids, tough on the grandkids. So, but one of the things that in the book that he talks about is just being intentional and slowing down to that speed of joy. And then you mentioned something too that your coach talked about. I'd love to hear more about it. There's a story he tells. There's an author. You're an author. Imagine being in a room and you got a book that sold, 1 million copies. And so you got maybe a couple million in royalties, and he's walking around, he's successful. But there's another guy, a billionaire, walks in, and his friend says, hey man, that guy there, he made more on his last deal he just closed than you made on your entire book. And he says, yeah, but you know what I have that he doesn't have? And the guy's like, wait a minute. He says, I have enough.
That's right.
Right? You got to figure out what enough is. Man, all you got to have is enough. And enough for me is, man, you got to, like you said, the time with family, working with people I love to work with, people of faith, people that have integrity, so I can live an integrated life. We talked a little bit in the pre-show. Larry, how do you incorporate your faith into your work? So, because I know you're a genuine person. I know you're the same person on Monday morning that you were on Sunday in the pew. How do you make sure you keep those aligned?
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. It can be challenging if you're not intentional. So for me, my priorities start with my faith. I wouldn't be here without it. And like I said, I still battle the faith versus fear, but I'm working on it. I'm intentional that God's got me covered.
Yeah.
And I know with that, I'm going to be okay through anything.
Yeah.
I'm here right now. I'm still standing. I've been through some stuff, as we all have, because
Sure.
life be lifing. It's really making sure that I continue to believe each and every day, and that I continue to lean not on myself, which guilty as charged. Oh, I got this. Oh, I can be super. No, no. All things are possible through Jesus. So
Yeah.
that's it's an everyday challenge. Just being honest with you, everyday
Yeah.
challenge, but it's also a blessing. I count my blessings every day. I pinch myself every day, Dan.
Yeah.
Just not too hard. I don't want to wake up from this dream. I was the kid that used to get sent to detention for talking. And now
Yeah.
my career, I get paid to speak. I get paid to serve. Come on now, in corporate America. Hello, this is Larry Long Jr. reporting for work. I used to work for Accenture and I had to be very buttoned up. It wasn't fun. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like I was in my gifting. That's not why God put me on this earth. My God put me on this earth to serve as a shining beacon of light and an example. A lot of times you can't be what you can't see. So I want to make sure that people see that, hey, you can do great things. You can make great impact. You
Yeah.
can be authentic and do it your way without having to conform to quote unquote what society expects. I know for
Right.
me, I was built. I'm one of one. There's no
Uh-huh.
other Larry Long Jr. out there. At
Yep.
least I hope not. So to answer your question, it's the at the forefront for me of everything that I do. When I look at the 8 buckets: faith, family, friends, fun, fitness, finances, philanthropy, which I know doesn't start with an F, but I spell phonetically and
Yeah.
frenetically, and then career.
Yeah.
Mine is exactly in that order. Those 8 buckets go in that order right there. So that's the kind of life that I'm trying to live.
Oh man, I love it. I start that same way: faith, family, fitness, finances. But faith is at the top. You have to put that up there, and you got to be grateful. I love that you brought up gratitude, because you gotta understand, if bad as you got it, somebody's got it worse. And as good as you got it, somebody's got it better. And comparison is will rob you of all your joy. So just be thankful. Be thankful every day. I'm thankful to have a putting contest yesterday, and to have a cinnamon roll and a hot chocolate, and then last night, I've got we live on about 3 acres, and we got sheep, and the sheep, and every time the branches fall off the trees, we throw them in, and the sheep eat the leaves, but they leave the branches. So I had to collect a bunch of branches from the sheep field, and burn them. So we built a bonfire, and then we sat around the fire and prayed as a family last night. And boy, that was good. That was a good way to end a Sunday. And Larry, you're a blessing. I'm going to tell you guys, this is going to air later on in the month, but we're recording here on January 5th, the first working day of the year for me, and it is a blessing to have Larry Long Jr. with us today. I hope, if you're not inspired by listening to Larry, you better go check. You better go to your doctor and get your blood pressure checked, because this guy is a dynamo. He's a friend. He is an amazing speaker, an amazing leader. Someone I am so glad to have in my corner, and to have you be one of my light protectors and shiners, and help bring me up, Larry. So any closing thoughts? I'm going to tell you this: go buy Jolt, guys. If you haven't bought it, go buy Jolt. And I'm telling you, Larry, I want a signed copy for my 14-year-old of Jolt for Kids. So I'm putting a deadline on you. I want that before Christmas. You better get to work. I want that Jolt for Kids, because I know my daughter will love reading it. You can't get enough Larry Long Jr. in your life. So,
Oh, goodness.
Larry, what do you say? What are your closing thoughts?
Well, I want to say the feeling is mutual, and you're a blessing. You've been a blessing to me since we first met. And I appreciate you. I encourage you. I celebrate you and everything you do to impact. You're impacting lives, and you're impacting people's lives that you don't even realize. So thank you for hosting me, allowing me to be a guest, and thank you for all you do. I can say honestly that you're a shining example, a role model, a leader, a guide to so many, myself included. So keep doing what you're doing, Dan. Uh, it's needed. It's definitely needed. I meet a lot of people And I can tell you, the world needs more of what you're putting out there. So
Well,
I'm just happy to be in the midst.
yeah, you know what? That's so true, and we're blessed to have each other. So thank you so much, Larry. Guys, hey, you know what you got to do? Go subscribe, share this podcast. I just had my most popular podcast just aired last Friday. I want this one to beat that one, and so you got to compete against Father John Carney, Larry, and he was a darn good guest. But let's go share it with all your friends. Tell us what you thought in the comments. I enjoy reading the comments. I answer all of them. So, Larry, what do you say we end the show on that note?
Why not?
Ha ha! He read the show notes. Thank you so much, Larry. We will talk to you soon. I can't wait to do something with you in 2026. Let's collaborate on something, my friend. And guys, don't forget to tune in next week for another premiere of the Lead Different podcast. Have a great rest of your day.
This is Lead Different.
Subscribe now. Discover a new era of leadership. Lead different because great leaders change the world.